Sonic showdown.
Bobby Portis had one of the great games that we have seen in the SEC. Broke the freshman scoring record at Arkansas, held by Scotty Thurman. 35 for Portis, and also coming off his career high, Rod Odom with 26 against Tennessee. Odom will be the key to handling Arkansas's pressure as Vanderbilt throws over the top, trying to get him open for three at the end of it.
Odom, the senior, with his career high, and here's the Vanderbilt starting lineup. Get used to those faces. You'll see a lot of them. Kyle Fuller coming off a double-doubler. Dejon Parker, Fuller, and Odom 1, 2, 3 in the SEC in terms of minutes played, along with James Siakam and the lone freshman Damian Jones. And for the Arkansas Razorbacks, Rashad Madden, Fred Gully III, who has played better consistently on the road than at home. The Hogs are 4-0 when Kiko Haidar is a starter. He's in that starting lineup today. Cody Clark and the aforementioned freshman Bobby Portis. There you see inside the huddle there, the head coach of the Razorbacks, Mike Anderson. You see that road record, those 2 wins, both coming at Auburn. And he's just said, frankly, guys got to make plays. And that's what he's counting on today.
Well, this will be a really interesting matchup in how Arkansas approaches Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt only has the 7 guys, and so you think, well, let's press them, let's wear them down. But the Commodores are so good at breaking the press, and it helps their offense, actually, when you try to press them. So we'll see if Arkansas has success with their pressure defense, and then if they adjust, if things aren't going their way.
And there you see the winningest coach in Vanderbilt history, Kevin Stallings, looking good. Said he dropped about 15 pounds and then said it was like throwing deck chairs off the Titanic. I love the way he looks at things. But he's really got to love the way his team is playing. Arkansas on the road gray, Vanderbilt in the home white. Tony Green, C.J. Washington, John Hampton are 3 officials. And we are playing in the SEC.
Razorbacks picking up man-to-man and trying to put the pressure on Vanderbilt. They only have 2 guards among those 7 scholarship players. Kyle Fuller and Dejon Parker typically play the entire way for the Commodores.
There are a lot of guys that play the entire way, and there's going to be a hold on Vanderbilt's opening possession. Foul is against Bobby Portis, who's coming off that huge game, his first. Inside, they tried to get it to Jones. Arkansas with a turnover.
Great matchup with the 2 freshmen, Damian Jones for Vanderbilt and Bobby Portis inside for the Hawks.
That take, and that's a good start for the Razorbacks as Rashad Madden got it to go.
Vanderbilt didn't get into their press break the way that they wanted to, but still Kyle Fuller able to push it up the court.
And Siakam was a little shell-shocked. He didn't know that he could run the baseline, so his coach, who was right there on the baseline, reminded him with vigor. And Siakam lost it, went to the deck, and a timeout Vanderbilt. First time that we have seen Arkansas in these, what'd you call it, Barry? I'd say gray uniforms.
Anthracite, the official.
Who?
There you go, anthracite, the official color, according to the Arkansas notes. Didn't know they were going to wear them today, but man, when you're struggling on the road as badly as the Hogs are, you change up everything. Try anything new. Well, the Hogs have played a whole lot better away from home this year as opposed to these past couple of years.
Just get out there and play.
Yeah. Yeah. Get over the Tennessee win, which was a huge one for Vanderbilt. They've been hearing so many negative things with all the players disappearing off this team. But the big win over Tennessee, the 4-game winning streak, Commodores may be feeling their oats a bit today. Coach Stallings told me yesterday that Vanderbilt, the shots that they most want, first they want Damian Jones dunking inside, but in absence of that, get it to Rod Odom at the three-point line.
And the scramble in the middle of the floor. And the foul is going to be whistled against Dejon Parker.
A Razorback pressure paying off. Fred Gully stripping it away. Dejon Parker gave up his dribble in the corner, allowed that pressure to come.
Portis trying to get something going, and Siakam with a block. And that time Portis was fouled. Siakam guilty of the foul, and foul trouble is one thing that the shorthanded Commodores can ill afford.
Well, they can manage it a little bit with their inside guys. The two other scholarship players who aren't starting are inside guys, so Vanderbilt has kind of a four-man rotation with their inside players, but on the perimeter, Fuller, Parker, and Odom, we typically don't see a moment of action without those three on the court for Vanderbilt.
We talked about those 35 by Portis on Wednesday night. 14 out of 17 from the field. And that breaks a string of 7 straight made free throws that includes a 6-for-6 effort from the line on Wednesday night.
The Razorbacks getting Portis the basketball inside and coming up with another steal.
Cody Clark got that one. And he gets the return. So Clark gets the steal on one end, gets the basket on the other, and Kevin Stallings is wearing out James Siakam here early on.
Well, and Arkansas is having their way inside against Vanderbilt. That is an advantage that they will have today, especially when they try and post up some of the Vanderbilt guards.
Clark with another rebound. And Arkansas with some hop in their step early. Home crowd wanted a foul on that rebound, didn't get it. Take a look at Kevin Stallings on the Vanderbilt bench. First substitution of the day. Shelby Moats, 6'8" junior from Waconia, Minnesota, checks in for the aforementioned James Siakam.
So far, the pace is really in Arkansas's favor. They've gotten a couple of steals, been able to push it to their offensive end, play quickly, going their way.
Clark had the shot blocked.
Damian Jones at the block. I love these two big freshmen in this game, Jones and Portis.
Well, the one thing about this Vanderbilt team, Barry, during this winning streak is they will take what the defense gives them as they get back in transition and force a turnover. The other night against Tennessee, they were really able to drive the ball to the rim with consistency, and today they are taking the outside shot and making the most of it.
During this 4-game win streak, it's been different things for Vanderbilt. Rod Odom has been pretty consistent, but James Siakam had a really good game. Kyle Fuller has had a couple of great games, with different sources coming through for the Commodores during this hot stretch.
That was a good look. And Parker went and got his own miss. Lots of electricity and lots of energy from both teams today. It's Vandy with the early 1 point. Brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer for great deals today. And by Wendy's new ciabatta bacon cheeseburger, available at participating Wendy's for a limited time. Vanderbilt with the early 6-5 lead over Arkansas as you take a look at the Country Music Hall of Fame, and lots to see and do. But now, how about our lows? Never stop improving, and Barry, a good example of that is how the Commodores have never stopped improving.
Yeah, they were an average defensive team through the first few SEC games, and with only 7 scholarship guys, that's sort of what you expect. But they have really picked it up at the defensive end of the court, holding their opponents under 55 points a game during this hot streak that they're on right now.
That's our Lowe's Never Stop Improving, brought to you by Lowe's. Kevin Stallings has been working on improving what he perceives to be his guys' effort here early on.
A little lackluster out of the gates for the Commodores. Maybe a little too much confidence for this team that has been the underdog so much, and a lot of negative commentary about this team and about what they lack. But now they've won these last 4 games. A big win in the rivalry game against Tennessee. Didn't come out very strong in this one so far, but got a nice little 3-point cushion still.
Madden, boy, that was a tough shot.
Madden's second drive to the basket. He has been very effective around that rim so far this afternoon.
It allows Arkansas to get into its press. The Commodores break. Good help defense by Haidar.
Arkansas's leading scorer in SEC play, Rashad Madden, doing what he does so well, getting into the lane, finishing over the trees. His second basket around the bucket for the Hawks. I like what Arkansas is doing with their press. They haven't done a lot of double teaming in the backcourt. They're not opening the court and allowing Vanderbilt to score in transition.
Haidar called for the ball.
It has been really good defense by Arkansas so far. Scrappy, slapping the basketball away from the Commodores. They have a couple of steals. They forced 3 turnovers. The Arkansas defense has been very effective so far.
Mardracus Wade, 6'2" senior from Memphis. First substitute for Mike Anderson as he replaces Haidar. And Arkansas really hedging out on those screens. And the hand check called against Cody Clark. 4th against the Razorbacks. Odom with the offensive board. Are you kidding me? Excuse me, that's Damian Jones. Oh my goodness. And Clark at the other end.
His 3rd basket. C4, Cody Clark.
Jones,
feeling it so far.
Jones spun so quickly at the other end, all I could see was the 0 and not the 3 in front of it. What a lead there.
It must be prophetic. That's Clark's 2nd basket. Madden has a couple of baskets, but Arkansas doing a great job forcing the turnovers, pushing it down the court. Their pressure has been effective so far.
Clark has had some big games. 16 and 14 against Florida. And that's a good look by Kyle Fuller.
The Commodores hot beyond the 3-point line so far. Their 3rd 3 of the day.
3 out of 5, and that's the first triple for Vanderbilt as Clark answers back. You know, Arkansas's got that streak of like 863 now, I think it is, straight games with a 3, and the only 3 they got the other night was from Portis. And all of a sudden, we've had an offensive explosion here.
It may be bad news for the Commodores. The pace of this game is picking up. Arkansas is having success with their pressure defense, so they will stick with that. Let's see if the Commodores start to wear down as this game goes.
Clark. Stallings wanted to travel, but the foul.
Damian Jones coming up with his offensive rebound, and Bobby Portis just giving him the baseline, and Damian Jones says, thank you very much. I'll slam it home. And Arkansas with their pressure D, pushing it down. Cody Clark, the easy finish. Those steals for Arkansas turning into easy baskets at the other end.
Clark at the free throw line knocks down his 10th point of the early going. Here's a look at what we've got coming up next Saturday for you. And substitutions for Vanderbilt. Luke Cornett, 7-foot freshman from Lantana, Texas, checks in to the Commodore lineup. And you mentioned the pace of play, Barry. Because of that, Carter Josephs, the 6'0 sophomore from San Antonio, Texas, checks in. Clark now goes to the Arkansas bench and gets a break. And Ja'Cory Williams, the 6'8 sophomore from Birmingham, into the Razorback lineup. Madden is called for the bump.
The Razorbacks continuing to apply the pressure. They've gotten some steals. They've had a lot of success with it, but it's like body blows in a boxing match. We'll see if it has a cumulative effect on Vanderbilt as the game goes.
Wade got the steal and then got it back.
He got a lot back on that one. Shelby Moats pounded him.
It's a second foul against Moats.
Marcus Wade able to hack it away, and then Shelby Moats says, I don't like getting the ball stolen from me, Mardracus.
Mardracus Wade with a history of playing well against the Commodores, double figures in 2 of his 5 career games against Vandy. Ricky Scott Jr., 6'3", 209 senior from Irving, Texas, checks in for Arkansas. Moats goes out, Siakam back in. And Alandis Harris, number 2, 6'6", 237 redshirt junior from Little Rock, in there guarding the basketball now for Arkansas.
Fast-paced, high-scoring game. Arkansas's advantage so far.
Nice play by Cornett as the freshman comes in and contributes immediately.
Vanderbilt really effective, typically, when pressure is applied to him, full court pressure. Odom able to drop it into Luke Cornett for the easy bucket. And so far, the Arkansas pressure has been effective. A lot of steals and higher tempo to their advantage.
How about Harris knocking it down?
Well, the Razorbacks, their biggest trouble this year has been at the offensive end of the court. Not a very good shooting team. Only 45% on the season field goals, but in SEC play, it's 38%. The Razorbacks hot so far today.
Parker now with the screen from Cornett. Here's Cornett at 7 feet. He'll shoot that 3. Siakam with a board. Cody Clark has been the story early for Arkansas. A big start for Clark. 11 today, already over his season average. He's gotten it done in all sorts of ways this afternoon, from outside and by taking it to the rim. (2017) Arkansas on top of Vanderbilt, nearing the midway point of the first half. Fans, this reminder that the most storied conference in college athletics will live on a new network. Tradition has found a new home, the SEC Network, launching August 2014. For more information, go to getsecnetwork.com. Dave Baker, Barry Booker, our entire SEC TV crew, Memorial Gym in Nashville. Razorbacks have had a lot of trouble on the road, but off to a good start early against Vanderbilt Commodore squad that has reeled off 4 straight, despite only having 7 scholarship players.
The Hogs have played much better on the road so far this season, although they're 0-4 in SEC play. A lot more energy, a lot more effective on the road so far this year.
And I think Vanderbilt's been much more effective when they've attacked the basket like that. It opened it up for Siakam. And at the other end, how about Michael Qualls, who's getting his first action of the day. Knocking down the 3. And Arkansas with a steal.
Arkansas press at 6 turnovers against Vanderbilt so far. 11 points off turnovers, making it 13.
And Kevin Stallings takes a timeout in a hurry. Dejon Parker checks back in, and that's why he's leading the SEC in minutes played.
The Hogs, not a good shooting team. As I mentioned, only 38% from the field on the season, but when they start making shots, that allows them to get into their press. They can force those turnovers, and they are fantastic when it gets into a scramble situation. Quick hands by Mardracus Wade. He couldn't get the layup home, but in flies Jacoby Williams to get it back in, and then Arkansas back into that press. Williams again with the quick hands. Another easy basket, and Kevin Stallings beside himself.
Barry, that was the first time in the last 5 games that Dejon Parker had spent any time on the bench.
It didn't last long.
No, and this pace is the reason. And,
yes.
and it presents a quandary for Kevin Stallings. This is exactly the kind of game Mike Anderson wanted to make it.
I thought Vanderbilt would be a lot more effective against this pressure defense. I thought they would be able to break the press, get some open shots at the other end of the court, and get Arkansas out of the press. But so far, it hadn't gone that way. The Hogs have given up a few baskets, but their pressure has been a lot more effective than negative.
Once again, Vanderbilt drives, and Fuller is fouled as the Commodores try to break a 12-4 Arkansas run. Barry, it's one of those situations where you had Vanderbilt, who came off that 2012 SEC tournament championship. They had to replace their top 6 scorers last year, and then they turn around and they have to replace about 5 guys this year.
Yeah, they lose Eric McClellan right as SEC play starts. He is dismissed from the team before conference play begins, who had been their leading scorer, averaging about 14 points a game. Their leading scorer from last year, also suspended for the year, Keidron Johnson. He's expected to be back next year. Josh Henderson with a blown-out knee in December. 2 other players, 2 other guards, Shelby Bright and Kevin Bright and Shelton Jeter left the team over the summer. So huge losses for these Commodores, but they are fighting through it.
That's the reason they have only 7 scholarship players. And that young man plays better every time he's on the court. The freshman out of Baton Rouge, Damian Jones.
Really talented player inside.
Boy, and Arkansas has found its shooting touch. Qualls 2 for 2 from outside the arc. And then he's called for the foul.
The Razorbacks continue to knock down the 3-point shots. Michael Qualls on the wing here. Hogs with several 3-point shots down. They've been really good in transition as well. Arkansas really clicking offensively, on pace to score about 100 points in this game.
Hogs are averaging over 7 made threes per game. Fuller gets the first. Moses Kingsley, number 33, 6'10" freshman from Huntington Prep, checks back in. And the interesting thing is after that big game the other night. The pace of this game and everything. We've only got 1 point from Bobby Portis.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not been on the court all that much in this ball game, but Arkansas with waves of players coming in. See how long Vanderbilt can hang in with all the numbers that Arkansas presents.
Balls missed from outside the arc for the first time. And Parker responds at the other end.
Parker knocking that jumper down, but for Arkansas, it's not all bad because the pace continues to be at a high level.
Clark had it stripped away. Arkansas 3 out of 5 with the 3 ball. Vanderbilt is 4 of 8. I'm sorry. Make it 5 of 9. And Mike Anderson takes a timeout as the Commodores have come back to take a 1-point lead. All of a sudden, Arkansas gets that press going, and what does Vanderbilt do? They answer with an 11-3 run of their own.
What a game so far. Up and down tempo, both teams knocking down jump shots. Over 30 points, 30 or more for each club. The hot shooting, the Hogs and the Doors.
Newman's was always a challenge for me. That's a 12-3 run instead of 11. And there you see the 3-point numbers.
Neither of these teams that great with the 3-point shooting. 32% for Arkansas in SEC play, as well as Vanderbilt right at 32%, but both clubs knocking down the jumpers today.
Barry, 30% from outside the 3 ain't bad. It's just that you shot it so much better than that. You consider everybody else to be under par.
SEC average at 34%. Both these teams below that level. I'm not holding them to my standard.
Portis back in there for Arkansas. So is Clark. And they swing it around, and Mardracus Wade, a guy who's got the ability to score like that, but it just kind of gone through a loss of confidence. Knocks it down. And all of a sudden, Clark is in the backcourt. He got hit by an elbow or something, and Tony Green did not stop play because the play was still continuing. Mike Anderson now there in the face of John Hampton on the baseline. And we'll sort it all out and see what happened. All I can tell you, Commodores and the Hogs going at it in Nashville. Vanderbilt have gone back and forth here at Memorial Gym in Nashville, and it has not been a game for the faint of heart.
It has been physical. Arkansas's pressure defense trying to wear down the Vanderbilt guards. There's Kyle Fuller trying to fight through the pressure. His left hand coming back and smacking Cody Clark in the face as he split that press. And play didn't stop because Arkansas didn't have possession of the basketball. It would only be a situation if the player was in danger that they would stop play in that situation.
Arkansas back with it now on offense after the block. Here's Portis, and that's his first field goal of the day.
We are on the pace of this game, over 100 points. So can Arkansas, a 38% field goal shooting team, can they maintain that scoring pace? And can Vanderbilt, with only 7 scholarship guys, can they maintain this pace of how often we have switched ends of the court?
Fuller couldn't get it to go. And Arkansas looking to run.
I think it is a distinct advantage for Arkansas to have this game played at a high scoring and high change ends of the court pace. Hogs, with all their depth, with their pressure defense, it will have an effect as this game goes.
Wade on the drive, and that one's blocked.
Quick hands for the Razorbacks. They are all over the court, pressuring the basketball at the rebound, and then there were still 3 Razorbacks back on defense. And Wade came up and was able to slap it out of bounds, almost got the steal in that situation.
Vanderbilt has got a couple of blocks. Siakam got that last one. I think for the first time today, the shot clock is under 10. Nice fake Odom.
Odom, Vanderbilt's leading scorer. They chase him off the three-point line, force him inside, but Odom still able to hit that pull-up jumper.
They go right back down to Kingsley twice. Madden saw something, and that's great execution right there by Rashad Madden, who got it to Moses Kingsley.
I like this bigger lineup for Arkansas, having Kingsley and Portis out there at the same time, along with 3 bigger guards. I think this will be an effective group for Arkansas.
Hogs in a hurry again.
They had the numbers, just couldn't find an opening.
That's what you're talking about, Barry. Last 2 trips, Kingsley, then Portis, back the way they did it in their AAU days.
Vanderbilt vulnerable inside. Razorbacks taking advantage these last couple of trips.
Parker tried to slip it to Jones. And Barry, we've really seen some great offensive execution by both teams.
Rod Odom using that shot fake at the three-point line. He is so effective out there. The defense flying at him, and then the Hogs jamming the basketball inside. Moses Kingsley with the easy bank shot. 39 already for Arkansas. Still 4.5 minutes left in the first half.
So Josephs, the walk-on, comes in for the second time. Fuller is on the bench, and he is just gassed because of this Arkansas pressure.
I am just amazed at the offensive pace of this ball game. Vanderbilt, we talked about how they've held their last 4 opponents under 55 on average during these last 4 ball games that they have won. Arkansas are going to blow by that soon after we enter the second half.
Good help defense by the Commodores. But Arkansas comes back and ties it up. The arrow points the way of the Razorbacks, who lead by 4.
It's Valentine's.
Puerto Rico Tourism Company. Live your own star vacation story. Puerto Rico, the all-star island. Visit cpuertorico.com. We are seeing some offensive stars today, as Arkansas has jumped on top of Vanderbilt by 4. And as we take a look at the SEC standings, Barry, both teams obviously playing for the postseason. Vanderbilt still in the hunt for that double bye, as it's now, we're inside the window where it's okay to start talking about the SEC tournament.
Yeah, the top 4 teams in the SEC standings will get a bye through till Friday at the SEC tournament, and the Commodores right in the mix there. Arkansas in the mix for an NCAA tourney bid if they can get things cranked up coming down the stretch. Only 3 and 6 in the first half of the SEC schedule. They need to turn that around in the second half, get above 500 in the league if they're going to have a chance to make the big tourney.
I've seen Arkansas in person several times this year. To me, the biggest takeaway today is they are just much quicker in every aspect of what they're doing. There's a sense of urgency. Gully couldn't get it to go, but Williams kept it alive.
Great job by Ja'Cory Williams going up, getting his hand on the basketball, keeping possession for the Hogs.
Kingsley was bumped, and that's the reason he stepped on the baseline. Siakam guilty of the foul. And Siakam's second. You see Kingsley go out. Michael Qualls checks back in.
A smaller group on the court now for Arkansas. A little more quickness. You see if their press is more effective with this smaller group.
Vanderbilt maybe trying to slow some things down with some zone. Doesn't slow anything down for Rashad Madden.
Unbelievable. 5 of 7 now from three-point range for the Razorbacks. They're shooting nearly 70% from the field so far today.
And this comes just a few days after a night where the only guy that could score was Bobby Portis. That's a crazy thing about this game.
Commodores over 50% themselves from the field, so the high scoring, the high pace of this game continues.
Odom having a big first half with 11.
Zone defense for Vanderbilt has slowed the pace of this game down a bit. Arkansas having to pass the ball around that zone. Their pace of play has slowed offensively.
Not a good pass there by Parker. And Portis again out in the passing lane. Bobby Portis coming off that night in which he had a career-high 35, but it was his defense that did it that time for the Razorbacks.
Great hustle by Portis. Good job by Arkansas that possession. Twice Vanderbilt tried to pass the ball inside. The Hogs able to slap it away both times and end up forcing another turnover.
Luke Cornett back in there for the Commodores as Siakam gets a break. Nice pass inside. Jones couldn't finish.
He looks like he's starting to run low on the fuel tank.
Boy, you just cannot turn your head. This is vintage Arkansas basketball today.
And the steals are so deadly. Turnovers are one thing, but when Arkansas can get a steal and push the ball immediately to the basket, they are so effective. It's hard to play good defense when the opponent's getting that steal and pushing it the other way.
Odom tried to go just a little too quick, and that's what they can do as well. Qualls is charged with the offensive foul.
Arkansas scrappy on defense all day long. Dejon Parker relaxed with the basketball, had it poked away. Michael Qualls with the finish, and that looks like a block. It looked like Josephs was sliding a bit to his right on that play, and the way the game should be called this year, the defense is not allowed to move once the offensive player starts his upward motion to the basket.
Fuller back in there. Boy, that's a tough take. Vanderbilt has turned it over 11 times. Arkansas has gotten 17 points off those turnovers. And yet the Commodores trail by just 5.
You mentioned it, Dave. The road woes for Arkansas well chronicled, but they are much more aggressive, much more active defensively, and that's leading to some good scoring opportunities for the Hogs.
Harris is called for the foul. Remember, in just 10.7 seconds, a C-Spire halftime report. Alabama taking on number 3 Florida. The 18th ranked Wildcats got more of a test than they thought at Mississippi State. And the first half stats and highlights from here. Kyle Macy and Darinoka standing by with the C-Spire halftime report. Harris missed that one. And that was the first free throw miss of the half for Arkansas. And outstanding shooting has not only been from the field, but from the line as well. Final seconds. Fuller trying to get a good look. Wow. How about the speed of Fuller? I believe I counted that he went through 4 guys before he got the ball to Jones, and Kingsley commits the foul.
One-man press break for Kyle Fuller. There have not been many big guys as athletic as Damian Jones, who wore a Vanderbilt uniform. He is a beast for the Commodores and developing during his freshman year into a star player.
And Barry, the way he carries himself, the way he's built physically, he does not look nor play like a freshman.
No. Coach Stallings has said that Damian Jones has a chance to be one of the very best among inside guys to ever wear that Vanderbilt uniform.
Parker goes out, so he doesn't pick up another foul. Luke Cornett back in there. Madden at the buzzer. And Arkansas, their road woes well documented. Why? They just haven't shot the ball on the road very well. 36%. Today, though, 61% from the field. Cody Clark with 11 early. Odom with 11 for the Commodores. Fuller with a dozen. Our halftime score, 45-40. Kyle Macy and Dari Noka in our C Spire halftime studio. Gentlemen.
I know you.
This halftime report is brought to you by C Spire. You're not just a customer, you're our inspiration. C Spire. Customer inspired.
Around here, you're walking in the footsteps of people who've made a difference. Game changers.
And it's a good team.
All right, flip side, A&M. Start off conference season 3-0. They lose 5 in a row. What has to happen for them to build off of the win against Mississippi State and move forward?
Well, some of that is scheduling. You know, they had maybe a pretty easy going early scheduling, but they've got to play a full 40 minutes. They've got 2 players that are playing very well for them, though. Alex Caruso is leading the team in assists and steals. And get this, also block shots. Kind of an unusual combination for a guard to be doing that. And Jamal Jones kind of, as a freshman, been scoring the ball very well, and you can see when he scores.
Arkansas playing its best game to date on the road in the SEC. 5-point halftime lead over the Vanderbilt Commodores. Welcome back into Memorial Gym. Dave Baker alongside Barry Booker. Barry, a lot of coaches would tell you that these days with TV timeouts, deep benches, it's tough to make the press a factor. But with the short numbers for Vanderbilt, Arkansas has done that and then some today.
They absolutely have. They have been in Vanderbilt's face all night long, forcing 11 turnovers in the first half, and 9 of those were steals, which the Razorbacks quickly converted into points at their offensive end of the court. 17 points off Vanderbilt's 11 turnovers. The Hogs great offensively, over 60% in the first half, and Vanderbilt relying on their top gun, Ron Odom. He had 11 points, but 4 turnovers in the first half.
And that's a look at our shelter first half highlights. How about the first half numbers?
Well, the Razorbacks shooting a fantastic 61% from the field, effective from beyond the arc as well at 5 for 9, although that has come down those last few minutes. And the 11 turnovers, 17 points off turnovers. We'll see if the Hogs can continue their hot shooting, and we'll see if Vanderbilt can withstand the pressure and the pace of this game so far.
All right, so Vanderbilt with the first possession of the second half. Commodores go with Fuller, Odom, Jones, Siakam, and Parker. Wade gets a second half start for Arkansas, so it's Wade, Madden, Gully, Portis, and Cody Clark. Odom starts off with a triple. Number 2 shooter in the SEC from outside the arc, shooting 44%.
Up to 14 points so far in the ballgame.
Wade spins, and they call Parker for the foul.
Good aggressive move by Mardracus. Wade knew that Parker would be off balance. He made a strong move toward the basket to draw that foul.
And that is the third against Dejon Parker. And now Jones is called for the block. And if you're Mike Anderson, this is the right strategy for your team. You play 12, 13 guys anyway. Go ahead and create some contact and see which way the whistle goes.
And offensively, usually the whistle goes against the defense. So Arkansas aggressive, getting to the basket on that trip down the court. They come up empty as far as points. But good strategy, well-played game by the Hogs so far.
Kevin Stallings goes to his knees because his Commodores had to take a timeout. Couldn't get the ball in. They trail by 2. Two-point game here in Nashville as we take a look at the SEC standings. The Commodores with those 4 straight wins, now 5-4. Arkansas at 3-6, but Florida a perfect 10-0 after a win today over Alabama. How have they done it? With defense, and that takes us to our Toyota SEC leaders.
Gators leading the SEC as far as points per game, field goal percentage, uncharacteristically only 4th in 3-point field goal defense. The Gators are fabulous at the defensive end, making them a dominant club.
And Arkansas has been really, really good with its defense today. I said it before, it looks like the old Arkansas defense.
Very aggressive, very scrappy, and they haven't given up much at the back end of that press either. Haven't allowed Vanderbilt to get into those scramble open court situations and get easy baskets after breaking the Arkansas press. The Hogs have forced those 11 turnovers and got 17 points out of those.
Odom long 3.
Way out there on that one. Well, he came through that screen and just went too far. He ended up about a 24-foot.
He's working on Jones. Nice defensive trip so far by Vanderbilt, and then they left Gully wide open.
Stellar offense by the Razorbacks, getting Cody Clark inside against Kyle Fuller. The double team had to come, and Gully drilled the open 3.
Anderson will be pleased with the patience his club showed on that offensive trip.
Pace of this game, though, has come down to Vanderbilt's favor.
Portis called for the foul.
The Razorbacks get the mismatch inside. Kyle Fuller trying to guard the bigger Cody Clark down low. So Siakam tried to double team. Gully made him pay.
And a nice slip on the screen. And Siakam will go to the line. Time now for our Wendy's Wooden Watch. And Casey Prather, the man who's on the watch list today.
Casey Prather, one of the most improved players in the country, leading the way for the Florida Gators, getting their 10th conference win today. 10-0, 3rd in the country. The Gators are rolling.
Big week for the Gators this week, Barry. They go to Tennessee on Tuesday night, Kentucky next Saturday. What impresses you about the Gators?
It's their defense for sure. They have been in years past a very explosive offensive team that has carried them, but these last 2 years they have become a great defensive team. Billy Donovan changing the nature of his club and his program by really putting that focus on the D.
You know, he did that right before they won the national championships, or right after when they brought Larry Chiat in.
Yes.
Chiat now out of Wyoming. And they've kind of rededicated themselves to the defense. The Commodores get 1 of 2. Arkansas's biggest lead has been 8. Vandy's has been 3.
Vanderbilt went to that zone defense late in the first half, kind of slowed the pace of this game down, and the Hogs haven't been able to get the pace back up the way they want it for about 6 or 7 minutes of game action.
Boy, Mardracus Wade has turned back the clock to the way he played as a freshman and a sophomore at Arkansas.
Led the SEC in three-point field goal percentage during conference games a couple of years ago and just fell off last year. Really struggled with his three-point shot. More focused on defense this season, but also able to knock down a few three-point shots as his total is up to 8 today on an average of 2.5.
That'll happen when you hit both of your triples. Arkansas really putting on the pressure, trying to double off those ball screens out top. Fuller way short. Boy, Jones, now you would think he was going to go up to put that back in. He was going up to put it really back in.
That's what he does. He's so explosive and athletic. But what I notice on that sequence is maybe we're starting to see the effect of the Arkansas press, of the pace of this game to this point. Kyle Fuller missed that last shot by about 3 feet. As he has played a lot of minutes. He had the flu earlier this week, played through that during the game against Tennessee.
You take a look at Fuller and everybody else. There is a lot of that trunk grabbing out there on the part of the Commodores.
Damian Jones thought he was going to go up and stuff it in, and he wasn't even close to being able to get a dunk on that play.
Clark goes out. Landis Harris back in for Arkansas. Portis had it knocked away by Jones.
Commodores really gasping for air. Arkansas, I think they should try to crank up that pressure as much as they can right now.
Fuller with a great save after hitting the deck.
Marcus Haynes maneuvers out there for Fuller.
But that persistence paid off as Parker got a 3 that the Commodores really needed. Wow. Welcome back, Mardracus Wade.
Yes, sir. Kyle Fuller sliding along that baseline.
Oh,
he is really close to the baseline. Looked like he may have grazed the baseline a couple of times during that sequence, but maintains possession and finds Dejon Parker for the 3. Vanderbilt fortunate on that last sequence, but the Razorbacks starting to take control here, up by 6.
I'd have to take another look at it. He definitely broke the plane.
Yeah, no question about that. I think he tapped that baseline a couple of different times.
I thought he was good with the first foot. The second one might have been the question.
Carter Joseph's forced into some ball handling duties as Vanderbilt looking for any opportunity they can to get a little rest for their guards.
Boy, and Fuller is definitely feeling it right now.
And Kevin Stallings did not appreciate the quick shot on that trip.
And Portis is fouled by Jones. Here we go. All right, here we go. Fuller, did he hit it?
I think that right foot taps the baseline, and then as he's getting rid of it, the left foot, and the officials say that is the toughest call that they have, those bang-bang situations, but Arkansas up 6.
In my world,
The road with a 6-point lead over Vanderbilt. And Barry, the difference today has been, frankly, just the way the Razorbacks have shot the ball. They've shot it a lot better because their defense is giving them better looks.
Yeah, great offense, but they've gotten down some three-point shots as well. 7 of 11 from three-point range when the game has slowed down a little bit. But they have been great forcing those turnovers. 2 and 19 in SEC road games since Coach Anderson came on board. But the Hogs have been poor on the road in the SEC across the last 3 coaches at the helm at Arkansas. Since Coach Richardson left, the club is 11 and 78 on the road in the SEC.
And you saw that number there, 28-2, the bench scoring in favor of Arkansas. Luke Cornett, the freshman, wearing number 3 for Vanderbilt. He's got the only bucket off the Vanderbilt bench. Harris goes to work. And the ball goes off of Josephs. And Arkansas will inbounds underneath its own basket with a fresh shot clock.
Vanderbilt having to go to their bench as the wear and tear of this high-paced ball game is starting to have its effect. We'll see if the Razorbacks can take advantage and extend their 6-point lead.
Josephs, the walk-on, and Cornett back in there as Portis hits the 3. Bobby Portis. Arkansas 8 of 12 from outside the arc.
Portis coming off a 35-point performance on Wednesday against Alabama, and Arkansas with a very balanced attack. A couple of players in double figures, several players around 7 or 8 points in this game. Hogs clicking on all cylinders, up by 9. The chance to pull away.
Their biggest lead of the day, the shot clock at 5. And Fuller draws the contact from Wade.
Bobby Portis coming off that screen, a really solid screen from Alandis Harris. Luke Cornett can't work his way around it, but you're thinking, hey, come on, Bobby Portis is 4 for 21 from 3-point range. I don't have to hustle to get out there. Portis able to drill the jumper.
And there's Fuller, short on a free throw.
A great foul shooter, best on the team at 76%.
I think it's just fatigue.
Yes.
Tries to get a little bit extra and shot that one long.
Hogs busting out the anthracite uniforms, the gray unis today. We may see more of those. They have been so good here today at Memorial.
Good ball movement, got Siakam that basket. And Harris lost it out of bounds.
Good job by the Commodores moving around. Luke Cornett, one of the best things he does, pass that basketball out.